Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Last time we faced off against all of the Hoenn gym leaders in rematches, which was pretty awesome. And we also passed the threshold of 50 medals, and we were told to come here to the medal office, so I think we're going to do that really quick before we head out to our next destination. Now, I don't remember what floor it's on. I think it's the 3rd floor? Nope, of course I guess wrong. Alright, back into the elevator we go. It is the 2nd floor we want, yes. Here we are. Now, I've never actually done this before, I don't think. I'm not sure if I've ever gotten this many medals. David, come here. Hello, David. Well, let's go straight to the ceremony, yes. Alrighty. David, you achieved great results in the medal rally. Great, well done, wonderful. To honor your achievement, I will present you with the Participation Prize Medal. Nice. The medal rally is far from over. Keep up the good work and receive many more medals. See you. Seems simple enough. Alrighty, I'm going to head back out into the main road, and we are going to proceed on our adventure. Now, what's the main thing we're going to be doing in this episode? Well, we are going to be heading across the final bridge of the Unova region. Yeah, I know, right? It's been a long time coming, but we're finally going to do it. We're going to head right on over this bridge, and honestly, this bridge really isn't anything all that special. It's mainly just to show off the graphics of the game, but it's really fun to see it do all this panning around and stuff. And I gotta say, seeing screenshots of this bridge when the game was first announced, man, that was hype. Also, one thing I do like is if you position yourself just right, you can fit the entire bridge in frame, which I think is awesome. But anyway, we are now heading all the way across the Skyarrow Bridge. There really isn't that much here for us. I think there is one small thing, but I'd rather just get straight to the main attraction of this episode. Now, what might that small attraction be? Well, it will be the Pinwheel Forest. This is the main area that I would like to take out in this episode. Now, I'm going to point out, well, first off, there are a lot of trainers here. I think about 24. It's kind of crazy, so we're going to be here for a while, so this episode might be a bit long. For that reason, I am not going to be catching the Pokemon that we need to catch in this area this episode. I'm going to save it for next episode because if we did it this episode, we would be here forever. Now, the big elephant in the room is that I did indeed do some serious grinding in between episodes for the rest of our adventure. We might be a little overpowered for the main trainers, but the special trainers, like the really powerful ones, we're not overleveled, I can promise you that. I grinded Garchomp and Lucario to level 95 and everyone else to level 90. In the process, I used the 2 rare candies that we picked up in between the Elite Four and now. I should mention, at level 81, Victini attempted to learn Final Gambit, and at level 89, it attempted to learn Stored Power. I opted not to go for either of these. I thought I'd just point that out. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to have to fight all these trainers here just because I really, really want to. And what do you have to say? The legendary Pokemon, is it true it was really beyond here? I presume he will move later on because there is something back there that is pretty interesting. But yeah, I did grind off-screen a lot, and as a side effect of that, we're almost back up at 2 million Pokemon dollars again because our gameplay clock is right at 105.5 hours, and if you recall, not too long ago, at the end of episode 118, we were at 94 hours, so lots of gameplay is going into these bonus videos, these post-game videos. It's kind of crazy, actually. Really not sure how I'm keeping up with the daily uploading schedule, but this will complete 2 weeks of daily uploading, so obviously I'm doing something right. Alrighty, we're going to blast this Miltank with a flamethrower, and as we're going through... Wow, that did not do much. As we're going through here, I might as well point out that this morning, as of the day I'm recording this, there was more information announced about Pokemon Sun and Moon. which I think was pretty awesome, so I guess I'll chat about that and give my thoughts. So they announced that the names of the legendary Pokemon are indeed Solgaleo and Lunala, which the trademarks that leaked out back in March seem to indicate, but it's nice to know that that's actually the case and that we actually have names for them. One very amusing thing is they also announced their typings. Solgaleo is Psychic and Steel, and as a result of that, it is actually weak to Fire, which I find really funny how the Sun Pokemon is weak to Fire. But I digress. And Lunala is Psychic Ghost, which means it is weak to both Ghost and Dark, both types commonly associated with nighttime, which I find almost more funny in a way. You have to wonder if they did that on purpose. It seems like the kind of thing that they would do on purpose. And they also announced that they both have special abilities, of course. Solgaleo has Full Metal Body, which I believe is just Clear Body, just with a different name. And Lunala has Shadow Shield or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it's called. Hopefully I guessed that right. And that is basically multi-scale, so even though the main website says that they both have unique abilities, in name they do, but in function they most certainly do not. Although this isn't the first time that's happened. Reshiram and Zekrom both had abilities that were basically reskins of Mold Breaker. So, I mean, what can you do? And let's see, what else did they announce? They announced that they both have signature moves, obviously. There is Sunsteel Strike on Solgaleo and Moongeist Beam on Lunala, and I have to say those are some of the most badass move names I have ever heard for this series, and I'm really excited to get some use out of those. The animations are also really pretty. They showed some scenery of the battles, and one interesting thing that's interesting to note is you see the stat bars on screen right now. They're in the upper left and the lower right, and it's been that way since the establishment of the series until Sun and Moon, because in Sun and Moon they have actually swapped positions. They are now in the upper right and lower left, which is an interesting and really small detail I'm not sure many people have noticed. And I really like how... voice crack. I really like how there's, I don't know, the painting effect on the stat bars. It looks like someone just splattered a little bit of paint, and that's what the stat bars looks like. I think that's a really neat little detail. Oh, you want to see my habitat list? Unfortunately, well, we haven't encountered anything in here yet, but I guess that's some free stuff right there. Now, in this area, it's worth noting, we are going to be doing some double battles with Chiren coming up, which is going to be pretty interesting. It's a little bit of a side story event thing, which I find pretty interesting, and oh, this is going to be fun. Alright, Garchomp and Lucario, level 95 each, yeah. A little bit overpowered, but oh well. So let's see, what else did they announce today? They also announced a bunch of character artwork, which I think is really cool. One interesting thing is for the character artwork for the male trainer, you can see what at first glance looks like a Mega Ring, which in all honesty is probably what it is, but it doesn't have a Mega Stone inside of it. Instead it has this golden diamond, and the interesting thing about that golden diamond is it actually appears in the Japanese logo for Pokemon Moon, which is pretty interesting. If you recall, when X and Y were first announced, the Mega Evolution Sigil, the DNA strand, was in the Japanese logos for that, so I have a feeling that's going to be a pretty important game mechanic going forward. Anyway, right here we have a little bit of an event. Hey, nice timing. I heard that Team Plasma was seen in Pinwheel Forest. Could you help me look for them? Sure, interesting. Thank you, this is a good opportunity for me to see up close what you can really do. I suppose I'll follow your lead. Leave recovery to me. Yep, this is basically like another partner trainer. I'm going to bring up my dowsing machine, that actually reminded me. And there are quite a few double battles in here, so we're basically going to have to go through all of these double battles. But, yeah. If I had to offer speculation as to what that diamond means, I would venture a guess and say that they're going to be changing how Mega Evolution works. Slightly. I'll be honest, I think it's really, really annoying how you have to collect, like, what is it, 50 arbitrary items in order to get Mega Evolution for everything that you can think of. And I recall hearing an interview from Junichi Masuda quite a while ago where he said he wanted to simplify the games a little bit. So I think in my ideal world, they would make it so that instead of requiring Megastones for everything, there would just be like a replenishable single Megastone for everything, so that you could equip a Megastone, just a generic Megastone, to any Pokemon you wanted and Mega Evolve it just to keep the inventory a little less cluttered. I don't think that'll actually happen, but in my ideal world, I'd say that's what I would prefer, in all honesty. Let's Shadow Claw that Musharna right there. But yeah, we don't know for sure how that is going to turn out. And, let's see, what else did they announce? They showed off the map of the Alola region, the full map this time. It is 4 natural islands, plus a couple of tinier ones that they didn't really draw attention to, plus an artificial island. And some people are quick to go, oh god, we have to surf everywhere, but it actually looks like, from the design of the islands, that there's going to be some sort of ferry service that can transport you in between islands, which I think is much, much better. And I feel like the Alola region itself lends itself, design-wise, to putting soaring back in the game. In fact, I wouldn't be all that surprised if they developed soaring for Sun and Moon, and then just ported it downwards to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire when that game came out. Anyway, I'm going to cast up a Repel right here, because as I mentioned earlier, there's, I believe, 7 Pokemon I want to catch in here, but there's so many trainers that if I tried to do all that in one video, I would lose my mind, and I have a feeling you guys would too. Alrighty. So, yeah, I'm really excited for the Alola region for that reason. It seems like they're really changing up how the world is designed, and it's not just in the fact that it's an archipelago region. It really honestly looks like, this time around, the grid system is going to be completely gone. Either that or they are hiding it incredibly well, because the world is so much more natural looking. Like, everything was so angular, even in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Everything was still very angular, and I am not getting that impression at all from Sun and Moon. It looks very organic and natural, and I feel like this is going to be the game where, graphically speaking, the game really comes into the 21st century, although I feel like that phrase is going to get less and less used as we get further and further into the century. But yeah, I just feel like that this is going to be the game where everyone remembers that Pokemon really came out of its shell, graphically speaking, especially in terms of the overworld, because the overworld looks amazing in this game. I don't think I can overstate how good the overworld looks. I am really, really excited. And it also looks like they might be... Ooh, a Citrus Berry. It looks like they also might be depreciating the conventional split between routes and towns. Like, when you look at the map, it looks very, as I've said, organic. I thought I heard a shaking grass spot there. I guess I'm just mistaken. But yeah, it feels a lot more organic. Like, there are some cities that you could see on the map with multiple Pokemon centers in them, and then there are some areas that look like they aren't even cities at all with Pokemon centers there. And there's just a lot of branching pathways everywhere, and I think it's really, really cool. And something that the footage seemed to indicate is that there might not be conventional encounter tables in terms of routes, so there won't be like a Route 1 encounter table where all the Pokemon in the grass appear for Route 1. it looks more like each patch of grass is going to have its own encounter table, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if that's exactly what they're doing, but there was a feature briefly shown off in the Japanese version of the trailer where the trainer was searching for a Pikachu, and it was giving a very specific icon as to its location, because the overworld map is actually displayed on the bottom screen at all times, which I think is really, really awesome, and I feel like that's also maybe a sign that the Dex Nav is going to come back. I'd be really happy if the Dex Nav came back, although it was a little bit annoying in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you would just hit search and it would be like, oh, nope, there's nothing here, and you just have to walk in circles for 30 seconds and then ping it again. I feel like it could be refined a lot, although I feel like it's pretty common opinion that there's a lot of stuff introduced in Generation 6 that really could use refinement. But I digress. One thing that they also announced, which we knew already from the Japanese trailer, is that they have expanded the number of races you can choose from for your player character. In X and Y, you could choose from 3 different skin tones, and in this new game, you can actually pick from 4, which is a lot better, I think. There's a trainer right here, I forgot. Good thing I checked. One thing that they announced, which I thought was pretty interesting, is the super young guy in a lab coat with the unbuttoned lab coat. That guy is actually the professor of the region. His name is Professor Kukui, and that's probably how I'm going to pronounce it until we actually find out what you pronounce it as. But I have to wonder what's the deal with the guy in the yellow flower jacket from the first trailer that gives you your starter Pokemon. Although I'd be willing to bet he's the father of the rival type character just because they have similar designs. The rival character, they announced that his name is How, and I'm really liking all of the Hawaiian names that they're throwing into the game. It's pretty awesome. One thing that's odd, though, is from what we've seen, it looks like How is going to pick the starter Pokemon that is weak to your own. So I have to wonder what their plan is in that regard, because I feel like it would be kind of dumb if they made your rival by design weak to you. I don't know, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of a rival. But then, of course, there's also Professor Kukui's assistant. Her name, I believe, is Lily? Except, like, spelled different? I don't know, it's some sort of flower. A lot of information was thrown at us. It was mentioned in the trailers, though, that she really doesn't like to battle at all, which is basically an indication that she's going to play a large part in the plot, because if you don't like Pokemon battling, you're going to have an important part in the plot. I mean, just look at N. Alrighty, right over here we have a Max Revive, wowee. Alrighty, I think that's every character they announced, and then they announced something that I don't think anyone was expecting in any capacity, is the fact that your Pokedex is alive. They announced that your Pokedex is going to be inhabited by Rotom, which I guess technically confirms a new Rotom form for the game. Although I don't know if we can actually battle with it, although that would be hilarious. Can you imagine running into the Pokemon Center being like, oh god, my Pokedex is unconscious, please help me. I don't know, I think that would be funny, although I doubt we can battle with it just because I just realized I'm trying to use Earthquake on a freaking Farfetch'd. What is wrong with me? But yeah, I doubt we can battle with it, but I think it would be hilarious if you could. It displays on the bottom screen a map of the overworld constantly, so it's more than just a Pokedex. It looks like they're fusing the Pokedex and the device, quote-unquote, that they always have in every game, like the Pokenav and the Poketch and stuff like that. It looks like they're just fusing it all into the Pokedex, which I think is really nice if they can just combine it into one unit instead of having them separate. I think that'll be awesome, and I'll be honest, especially in X and Y, I was pretty underwhelmed with the bottom screen UI. It felt like it wasn't very useful, but having a map on the bottom screen at all times that you can interact with, I think that's awesome. One thing that they announced with the Rotom Pokedex, which I'm not totally sold on yet, is the fact that it will tell you where to go based on conversations you've had with others. I really hope this is an optional Your Journey So Far feature, because if it turns out to be something like Oh, God forbid. If it turns out to be something like Phi from Skyward Sword, I'll probably want to bash its head in as soon as possible. So I'm really hoping they don't take that sort of route with it. There's really nothing here. Wow. Alrighty, so heading right around here. Oh God, 2 ace trainers. This is gonna be pretty rough. But yeah, the Pokedex actually speaks to you, which means I guess that proves that Rotom is capable of speech. It just needs to inhabit a device that allows it to express it, because the Pokedex was mentioned to be specifically designed for Rotom to inhabit it. They also mentioned that the Pokedex is quote-unquote rare. I don't know how a Pokedex could be rare. I guess it would just be in limited supply. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting little detail. I'm not sure why I used Flamethrower on Ludicolo right there. It might knock it out anyway, though. And wow, we're fighting level 80 opponents, I just realized. That's pretty significant. But yeah, I think the Pokedex thing is really funny, and one thing that a lot of people aren't aware of is that apparently in the Italian version of the game, I believe it is, the Rotom Pokedex actually speaks using emoticons, which I think is... Honestly, I think that's hilarious, and you can't blame Nintendo Treehouse for that one, because that's Nintendo of Europe, not us. I say us as if it's actually us, but no, it's the Treehouse. But in this case, it's not the Treehouse, you know what I'm saying. I'm not going to get into the whole controversy with the Treehouse. I honestly don't feel like it bothers me at all. But yeah, that's kind of an amusing little detail. And they also announced with the Pokedex you could scan in QR codes that you could find all around the real world. And those would add data for Pokemon into your Pokedex. And you could use that data to actually find Pokemon in the game. So if you scan a QR code for Pikachu, the Rotom Pokedex will be, hey, I know where you can find Pikachu, and point you in that general direction, which I think is a really neat little idea, and I think it'll make exploring the world a whole lot funner. One thing I am a little nervous about, though, is it's highly likely that the game will be programmed from day one to recognize QR codes for event Pokemon that have not been announced yet. So I have to wonder how long it's going to take for QR codes of some mythical legendary that's not going to be announced for like a year and a half to circulate online. I feel like that would kind of ruin the experience a little bit. And wow, Garchomp is already at level 98. That's kind of insane. Garchomp's probably going to be our first team member to level 100. But I can pretty much guarantee that the entire team is going to be level 100 by the end of the project, which is a little insane, but we are going to be facing level 100 opponents, like legendary level 100 opponents by the end of the series. So it's probably worth noting that we are going to go all the way to level 100, and the more we can do out in the field like this, instead of in horridly monotonous grind sessions, the happier I'll be. And I'm also very happy that we grinded all these levels off screen, because this episode would be taking so much longer had we not elected to do that, so I'm really, really glad that I went and did it. Man, I've been talking about all this stuff with Sun and Moon. I think that's everything they announced, unless I'm mistaken. That's everything major that they announced, at least. And man, oh man, it's going to be a good, long 5 and some months wait to November 18th or the 23rd if you're in Europe. I really don't know why they do that. It really sucks that Europe has to wait until a Wednesday of all days to play this game. One other thing I suppose I could mention is they are actually planning on showing Sun and Moon at the Nintendo Treehouse, which I was not expecting at all. I thought they were actually going to go all the way and show only The Legend of Zelda at this Treehouse event, but apparently not. In fact, it seems that they plan on opening the Treehouse event with Sun and Moon instead of The Legend of Zelda as they previously announced, and that's the weirdest thing. They announced new plans that are in contradiction to plans that they already made. I'd be willing to bet that's honestly as a result of internet backlash, and I honestly have to agree with the internet on this one. No matter how good The Legend of Zelda for Wii U/NX is, no matter if it's the greatest game on the freaking planet, Nintendo is not going to be looked upon fondly for only showing that one game at E3, so I'm really glad they opened up and decided they're going to be showing more than just that at E3. Because I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Zelda fan in the world. I mean, I love playing The Legend of Zelda, and I'm excited for the new Zelda game, but 3 days of just Zelda? There are other games that I'd rather have 3 days of, but honestly, I wouldn't want to have 3 days of any game in particular. I'd like to get some variety. Even last year, when their showing wasn't too terribly strong, we still had Federation Force and Triforce Heroes and Fire Emblem Fates and Tokyo Mirage Sessions, although I don't think they announced that name by that point. Like, they had variety, and variety is the spice of life, as they say. Alright. I'm probably going to knock out Chiren's Stoutland quite a bit in this section, but honestly, I don't care. I'm noticing his Stoutland's level 84, which is actually a pretty respectable level considering our opponents. Man, oh man, Garchomp Earthquake, that is such a good move, seriously. Such a good move. Alright, so I was looking ahead at future episodes of the series that I have planned, and it looks like if everything does go according to plan, and that's a very big if, it looks like there's going to be less than 30 more episodes in the series, which is kind of crazy to talk about when we're so far into the game. But yeah, this last stretch of area that we're going to be exploring for the next several episodes, there's actually quite a lot of terrain that I plan on covering. After we've done that, we've explored pretty much every bit of land that I want to explore, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, right through here, I think, is where Chiren's destination is. Boo! I am Gorm. I was once one of Team Plasma's 7 sages. Team Plasma's finished. Despite that, you still haven't given up? Are you here planning something? Wait one moment. I have no plans to confront you. I don't mean to disappoint you, but I doubt I'm a match for either of you in the first place. What happened to your glasses? Yes, Chiren did indeed used to wear glasses. Excuse me, but that's not important. I learned of my old ally's recklessness, and I had come here to admonish him. But the matter has already been resolved, and this place made me think. What did we believe in that made us try to steal the Dragon Skull? That is a plot point from Black and White. Team Plasma stole a skull from a museum in a city we have not been to yet, and they fled into Pinwheel Forest. A man who has committed a mistake and doesn't correct it is committing another mistake. Do you understand what this means? Avoiding all mistakes is impossible, but not fixing mistakes you have made, that is truly foolish. That being said, this doesn't really concern you, does it? Well then, trainers, may you and your Pokémon be well. You know, if it wasn't for Getsis, he might have chosen another path. Or maybe not. He was the one who decided to follow Getsis after all. That aside, thank you. Your help made this investigation go smoothly. This is my thanks. Come on, just take it. And we get an upgrade, which we don't need, but thanks anyway. Okay, be seeing you. Be seeing you indeed, Chiren. And they hide a trainer right here for good measure. Seriously? Ay ay ay. But yeah, with this announcement of them not focusing just on Zelda for E3, I'm a little bit more excited for E3. I'll be honest, my E3 hype was at rock bottom when they announced that they weren't having a digital event of any kind, but now that they've announced that they're going to have more than just Zelda at E3, I'm warming up to the idea. And I gotta say, this is probably, if there's any time to announce that rumored Mother 3 localization, dagnabbit Nintendo, you better do it at E3, because man oh man, Earthbound Beginnings at E3 2015 cannot have been for nothing. Seriously, it's gotta be coming, it's gotta be coming. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much, but god, I want it to be coming so bad. Alrighty, we're gonna flamethrower Cricketune out of existence right here. And I guess I can take this time to talk about the new LP that I've been doing on the channel for a little bit as we're going through the rest of this dungeon. Okami is doing pretty well, I think. I mean, recording it's been going pretty fun, and I haven't received any negative comments about it. One thing that's a little bit unfortunate is that Capcom will content ID the videos. Not every single one has been content ID'd, but a large portion of them have. And I feel like I might have missed a pathway back here, so I'm just going to run back and check real quick. But yeah, one thing I have to wonder is, what does Capcom have to advertise on my channel? I mean, seriously. I've always gotten the impression that there hasn't been all that much, and yeah, I totally went this way. I'm crazy. But yeah, the episodes have been quite a bit long starting out, and for that I apologize. That's mainly the result of the game being very similar to Zelda in that it takes a while to get started. Not quite as bad as Twilight Princess or even Skyward Sword, but it does take quite a while, so there have been quite a few episodes that have been very long. Some of them might still continue to be that long, and there's an item behind this hat that I missed completely. As of right now, I've recorded 8 episodes, and I keep on screwing up the recording. Oh wow, this is actually open now. I keep on accidentally screwing up recording the series. I think I've had one episode corrupt slightly because I tried to record an episode while the previous one was rendering, which was really stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And then I had other times where my capture card feed would cut out because at the time I had my fridge right under where the cable goes from the Elgato to the computer. So I actually moved the fridge across the room and that problem seems to have stopped. But then, when I was recording, I actually ran my hard drive full and that caused an episode to corrupt entirely, which was incredibly frustrating. I'm really sad that I lost all of that stuff, especially since in episode 6, which is the one that corrupted, in the failed take, I had a very amusing glitch occur when the game was having trouble reading the disc where the character model was spazzing out and screwing up. I managed to salvage some images of it from the corrupted footage and include them in the episode, but I'm really sad that we happened to lose that. But yeah, other than that, the LP is going very well. One thing that is definitely worth noting is I've been using Chugga Conroy's LP as kind of like a baseline to see how far I should get in every episode, but then I'm realizing Chugga Conroy actually skipped quite a bit of text in his LP, and his episodes weren't very long as a result of that, so even though I'm at about the same point as he was when he was at episode 8, his episodes were like a lot shorter, and that's because he would actually skip a lot of text, which is sad because a lot of the text is actually really fun to read. So mainly the episodes are longer because I want to get stuff done, but I also want to read all of the text the game has to offer, because a lot of it is just really funny. In fact, there was a pun in some of the text that Chugga Conroy just outright skipped in his LP. And we all know how he feels about puns, so I have a feeling that wasn't on purpose, but yeah, TM51 ally switch right there. That's one interesting thing I've always wondered, is if Chugga Conroy is ever going to do redos of LPs that he's already done. Personally, I'd really like to see him redo his Earthbound LP because it was pretty shaky, as it was his first. If you can't tell already, I'm actually a really big fan of his work. But anyway, I need Surf, so I'm gonna go teach that to Gastrodon real quick. Alright, I got rid of Scald for it, so still have all of the type coverage that Gastrodon originally had, and honestly, I've said it before, Surf is not a bad move, honestly. Of all the HMs, Surf is the one I would probably miss the most just because it's actually a really good move. And wow, another PP max. And honestly, requiring Surf doesn't bother me all that much just because it's a good move. Cut, on the other hand, they could do to get rid of altogether. And I'm really hoping they do some cleaning up in that regard in the Sun and Moon, but I feel like everyone's been wishing for that ever since Sinnoh went a little bit overboard with the HMs, so I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but if it does, I will definitely await it. Anyway, right in here, we have a bug gem, which is very nice. Man, I'm just realizing how huge this area is. It's crazy. Alright, and there's actually an item hidden right over here, a sunstone, which I also don't need, but you might. And right in here is, I believe this area is called Rumination Field. Something important is going to appear here later, so just keep in mind that it is here because it's pretty important. Anyway, that's all I had to do back here, so I'm just going to head back to that main street real quick. Alrighty, back here on the main road, I'm going to keep repels on because, believe it or not, we are still not done with this area. We're finished with the inside, but there is more outside. Yeah, it's crazy. There is so much in the Pinwheel Forest. It's kind of insane. I was really dreading doing this episode just because odds are it's going to be close to, if not in excess of 50 minutes long, even if we just do the trainers. It's kind of insane. And in fact, we are going to have to come back to Pinwheel Forest next episode because, as I mentioned, there are 7 Pokemon that I want to catch in Pinwheel Forest, which is actually quite a bit. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to lump catching those Pokemon at the end of next episode. Next episode, I do have something special planned. I sure imagine a lot of you can probably tell what it is considering what city we are about to get to. But yeah, I'm going to get that out of the way first off next episode, and then we're going to come back to Pinwheel Forest and catch all of those Pokemon that we don't have yet. Just because a lot of them are quite rare, and I have a feeling if we were to stick those onto this episode would wind up being over an hour long, and honestly, that's probably my upper limit, even for a post-game episode like this, where I do everything for an area in one video, usually. So yeah, and Garchomp is at level 99. That is crazy to me. Man. Although, to be honest, it's fun to do just a full sweep of an area using just Garchomp. I mean, Garchomp's raw power, that's something to behold. Anyway, I don't think you actually fight us. Smash the Challenge Rock. I think that's actually a little bit of an attraction in this area. Somewhere in this area. Is that on the other side of the fence? Yes, it is, so we're not going to be getting that until later. Somewhere in this area there is one of those generic decorative rocks, and you can bring a fighting Pokemon to it, and... Did I click no on a repel prompt? I don't remember doing that. What? Why did we... Oh, I know what it is, duh. I'm stupid. A grass patch started shaking, and I walked into it like the instant it spawned, so I couldn't even tell it was there. Derp. Alright. See, I'm not crazy. Well, maybe I am, but not for that reason. Got an HP up right there, which is very nice. I have a lot of these medicines stocked up, but honestly, we fought so many Pokemon over the course of our adventure. I'd be willing to bet we don't have any capacity for any more effort values on our team. And oh boy, we have an Ace Trainer right here with 6 Pokemon. These are the guys I was afraid of because they take 5 ever to fight. And also, I think it was a good call to grind up our team before this episode because we're running into regular trainers with Pokemon in the mid-80s. Which is kind of crazy because last episode we had Pokemon that were in the mid to high 70s. So I think it's really good that we actually went and did that. Alright, we are pretty low on health right here, but we can take out this Swampert right here. Very nice. Alrighty, Garchomp might actually get to level 100 in this episode, which is mind-boggling. But it might actually happen. And I'm realizing the game is starting to get a little bit choppy. I feel like this usually happens right around the 40 to 50 minute mark when I'm recording, so I think once we finish this fight, I'm going to have to reboot the game, which is unfortunate, but it's something we're just going to have to live with. As I've mentioned many times before, I have no clue what causes it. I feel like it's just, as the recording goes on, the game just starts to struggle. This doesn't happen when I'm not recording, so it has to be something with OBS, because When I'm not recording, this doesn't happen because I grinded probably a good 3.5 hours straight in between last episode and this episode, and this did not once happen because I wasn't recording it. Maybe I'll have to report this to the developers of OBS, but I'm pretty sure I'm using one of the most recent builds of the emulator, not the emulator, the recording software. But I mean, I guess it's still in beta, so I can't fault them too terribly much. Luckily, we're not having too much trouble here, but all the same, I'm probably going to reboot just to be safe, because there have been times, oh right, it has an air balloon, there have been times where it has slowed down to literally 20 frames per second. It's rough, it's really rough when that happens. Alright, I guess we're going for Aura Sphere on this one, and oh god, did you just really hit Thunder twice in a row? I just got two-shot by a Plusle. Can we just pretend you guys didn't see that? I mean, yike. Alright. Well, I think no, wait, no, we didn't hit it. We didn't even hit it. So this Earthquake isn't even going to work. Why don't you just hit yourself? There you go. This battle is not going too terribly well, I have to admit. Even though all of our Pokemon are 90 plus in level. Alright, please hit. Nice. Alrighty, please one shot. I don't know. Yeah, it didn't even come close. But now we can unload Earthquake onto this thing. Alright. Please hit. Yeah, nice. Alrighty. Now that I'm done talking about Sun and Moon and E3, I'm really not sure what I'm going to talk about for the rest of the episode. I should have had a bigger list of stuff to talk about, but honestly, I was well aware that this episode was going to wind up being stupid long, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that I'm running a little bit dry at the end. But the nice thing is the confusion is not hitting us repeatedly, which is nice. We've actually landed quite a few hits. In fact, if we don't die to this, we will snap out of our confusion and hit it with another Earthquake to bring it down. Phew. That was kind of crazy, and oddly enough, the lag seems to have subsided, which is interesting. It chopped just a little bit earlier. I have to wonder if that's just because there were a lot of model movements on screen, although given the hardware I'm running in this computer, I doubt emulation of a DS game would be the source of any sort of problem. I have a feeling it's mainly the recording and the fact that it's been going for about 45 minutes. In case anyone doesn't know, I have a really, really good CPU in this computer, so honestly, we shouldn't have any sort of lag trouble as a result of the emulation. I guess it's just bad optimization in the recording software, although it's possible it could just be Windows 10 being Windows 10. Because, I mean, it's Windows. It's gonna be derp. Alrighty, this is the last Pokemon on this guy's team, thank God, because that fight could have gone a lot better. We'll just say that. Alrighty, I think there's an item right up here we want. Yeah, a nugget. We're definitely going to want to sell that, although money, we're not going to be worrying about money for the rest of the LP. I can pretty much guarantee that. And, oh, it's right here? Yes, Max Elixir. That's a really good item, actually. Alright, our lag seems to have subsided for now, so I think I will fight this trainer, which I believe is one of the last trainers in the area. There are 24 trainers, I believe, in Pinwheel Forest, but we actually did quite a few double battles with Chiren, so it's probably not quite as many, actually, because we doubled up quite a few of them. Oh, right. Yeah, that's not going to go well. Yep. I expected as much. This thing probably has speed boost, too. They like to pack hidden abilities on these guys, mainly because the hidden abilities are usually a lot better than the regular abilities. Although I think Mandibuzz might be able to outspeed this thing. I'm not positive, though. Let's try it. Well, Protect is a priority move, so we can still try. Oh god, we're probably not going to outspeed it now. It just got 2 turns of speed boost off. Ooh, that's going to hurt a lot. Actually, not as much as I was expecting it to. I am legitimately impressed. Nice, we one-shot it. That's going to have a crap ton of recoil, but what are you gonna do? Alright, I did re-equip the leftovers after grinding. I did equip the what was it? The experience share, that's what it was, onto a couple of my guys in between episodes to train, but I tried to get everyone's hold items back in order before this episode, and it seems I've succeeded, which is very nice. Alrighty, we have Aggron right here, so I think we are going to bring out a Brick Break. I think Aggron has Sturdy, though, so this might not one-shot. Oh wow, it just didn't one-shot, period. Ooh, Head Smash is gonna hurt. Although I think it has Recoil? Unless it has Rock Head for its ability. Which it looks like it does, because I'm pretty sure that move has Recoil, normally. Of course, I might just be going insane. That's a completely valid hypothesis. Alrighty, Wailord coming in next. This is gonna be... oh wow, we're actually in pretty bad straits. I might take this turn to just sort of ditch Magnezone and heal up the rest of the team, because we're actually in a bit of a bind right here, surprisingly enough. Wait, Pressure? Really? That's gotta be a hidden ability. That's interesting. Alright, gonna try and revive... revive Garchomp right here, and I don't think Wailord is capable of knocking out... oh, yes it is. It has Earthquake. Nice. Alright, so there goes Magnezone. Alright, this just got quite a bit more interesting. Alright, we're gonna send out Mandibuzz, and we're just gonna try and keep ahead of this guy. Not sure what this Wailord could possibly pull out, but I'm a little bit nervous for it. Alright, it's got Earthquake on it, so I think I want to restore Gastrodon, because Gastrodon's probably the... switch. Okay. Alright, so let's revive Gastrodon because I wanted to be able to wall Wailord more easily, but this works too. And since we have Minun right here, I think Brave Bird is capable of one-shotting it, and we are most definitely faster, so I'm just going to take this chance. Wow, that did a lot less than I was expecting. I mean, it's a freaking Minun. And of course it lands the Thunder. It's got a 70% accurate rate, so of course it's going to hit. I mean, right, guys? This AI sometimes... I think the AI has used Thunder 3 or 4 times this episode, and not once did it miss. I mean, sheesh, right? Alright, so we're just going to Earthquake this Minun into the next century, just to give us a little bit more breathing room, and I'm really hoping that Wailord doesn't come out next. It is coming out next. I would be willing to bet that that Wailord is packing, Ice Beam, so I think I'm going to send in Gastrodon as a fall guy and revive someone. Alrighty, Wailord is a Pokemon that I really just don't enjoy fighting, usually just because it is so absurdly bulky. It's kind of insane, the stuff that this thing can pull off. And, in fact, I think it might actually be a better idea to potion some of our guys instead. Because Wailord is quite slow, if I recall correctly, so I don't think we have to worry about it. Alright, I think, you know what, I'm just gonna heal up Gastrodon as well, because considering Water Spout is the best it can do against me, Gastrodon's probably a good choice to go up against this Wailord, and this fight is taking quite a while, which is unfortunate, but as I said, it's an ace trainer. They take 5 ever to fight. Let's try Sludge Wave. I honestly don't think I've actually used Sludge Wave yet, just period. So let's see if we can get off the poison with this. Sludge Wave is actually decently powerful. Yes, I got the poison off. Nice. I think that's like a 20 to 30% chance. I don't remember exactly, but that's really hype-inducing, knowing that I was able to get that off. Unfortunately, it is not badly poison status, so it could be better, but we can work with it. Alrighty, heal ourselves back up again, got Water Spout again. Yeah, this Wailord has pretty much nothing to do against my Gastrodon. which I'm really happy about, because this Wailord, given it has Earthquake, I was a bit worried. Alright, what's the best move here? I'm gonna go Earthquake because it's stab, but it is physical, so I'm not sure exactly how much it's gonna do, because Wailord is quite physically defensive. Yes! And the poison? Nice. Awesome. I have a feeling that guy would have healed if we didn't play it smart like that. Alright, we have a Tropius coming in next, which is interesting. I think I want to send in Victini for that one, because I can't count on Gastrodon being able to outspeed anything. I mean, especially even a Tropius, because if I remember correctly, Tropius is actually decently quick. Alright, let's Flare Blitz this thing. And I have a feeling this episode is going to be possibly the longest in the series. It's kind of crazy. We're already at 52 minutes, and I know I've cut out a little bit of stuff so far. Donphan, huh? Let's try Gastrodon on this one. But yeah, Pinwheel Forest, I wasn't really expecting it, but I have a feeling Pinwheel Forest is going to be just the biggest dungeon we take on in our adventure, aside from probably Victory Road, just because there are so many trainers. And wow, Gastrodon actually outsped something. I'm impressed. I'm legitimately impressed. Unfortunately, it's got a Pasho Berry. I'm just going to weaken that a little bit. If we can take this Earthquake, we should be good, because I think Donphan is actually, yes, it's her last Pokemon. Alright. And it looks like this fight is finally over. Ay ay ay, that was a long fight. I'm not gonna lie, that was probably one of the longest fights we've had in the series. Alright, right up here is... Oh, come on. Oh wait, no, there's grass that I can walk around, okay. I thought for a second that he was actually trapping my way onwards. But no, there's grass, and I just realized I should have healed after the Ace Trainer, but I didn't. Ah well, it's a black belt, which is not nearly as bad as an Ace Trainer. We should be able to take this guy down no problem, especially given he's only got 3 Pokemon. Alright, one shot the first one, which is very good. Up next is Scrafty. I'll be honest, I really like Scrafty. I like the idea of what's the word, like a hoodlum Pokemon? Or a thug Pokemon or whatever, although I have to say, I get nervous using these words just because I don't use them too terribly often, and I'm always afraid I'm going to accidentally say something racist. Like, it can't just be me, right? There are so many words, thanks to Urban Dictionary, that I'm afraid I'm going to accidentally say something offensive. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has this problem. Anyway, let's Flamethrower Scrafty. And this guy only has 1 Pokemon left, and then after this fight, I'm going to heal up the team. Oh wow, a Poliwrath. I think Victini can outspeed it, especially given we almost certainly outlevel it. So we're just going to send out Victini and blast this thing with a Psychic, and that will hopefully get it off the field in one shot. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, nice. And that defeats yet another of many trainers on this route. And now that we have done that, I am going to heal up the team. Alrighty, the team is fully healed up. And man oh man, this route. This route. I think there's only a couple more trainers for us to fight, but man, this episode might actually be over an hour long, even without doing the catching, which is crazy. Alright, here we have Hitmonlee, and this allows me to complain about the fact that we cannot catch this thing anywhere in this game. We are going to have to evolve Tyrogue. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Oh man. Tyrogue is probably my least favorite evolutionary method in the entire series, mainly because it's up to... Well, I would say it's up to luck, but it's not entirely up to luck, which is the most frustrating part. There's a little bit of luck involved, but there's also a little bit of strategizing involved. And it can get really, really annoying. When you're going for a Hitmonlee and you just happen to get a Hitmonchan, and come on guys, really? Can we just call a delay of game at this point? I mean, seriously. Alright, good, it failed the second time. And I'm also realizing my voice is starting to go because I've been commentating over this game for almost an hour straight at this point. Hey, I am really excited for this episode to be done. Mainly because my voice is getting tired, but also because Pinwheel Forest is just really freaking tedious. So many trainers. So many trainers, but if it means Garchomp gets to level 100 this episode, I mean, I guess I'll take it. Alrighty, so now that we've done that, right over here we have a hidden grotto, which I think we'll check out really quick, although I don't think there's anything of interest. Oh, there's an item. Red Shard. I don't think there are any Pokemon that we explicitly need to catch in this grotto. I think there's only a couple of grottos in the game that we're going to need to use. This right here is the Challenge Rock. Would you like to have Lucario smash the rock? Sure, let's do it. A piece of the rock broke away, and we obtained a Stardust, which is really nice. Nice little detail. I think you can do that daily, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, where's that hidden item? Here it is. Fighting Gem. This area is pretty popular for fighting Pokemon, mainly because in the original Black and White, the gym right nearby was fighting type. And you could actually explore this area prior to taking on the gym. And you could catch fighting Pokemon here, which were incredibly useful, especially if you did not pick Tepig at the start of your adventure. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last trainer of Pinwheel Forest. And if it's not, if I happen to wow, you can tell I've been going for an hour. If this happens to not be the last one, we'll probably wind up fighting him next episode at some point, although I'm pretty sure we have actually fought every single trainer with this guy. Alright. Remind me to never do an hour-long episode of exploration ever again, because man oh man, this has been a trial. Luckily, we're packing our super effective moves as usual, and it's looking like Garchomp isn't actually going to get to level 100 this episode. Which is unfortunate, but it will almost certainly get there within the next couple of episodes. We might not actually be earning any experience next episode, because next episode is going to consist almost exclusively, in fact, probably exclusively, of catching. Alrighty. Is that the last trainer? It is. And just ignoring that little dip into Nacrene City, we have one last item. Alright, this here is Nacrene City. And hopefully you guys won't get too upset at me, but I think we're just going to end things off here immediately. It looks like we qualified for a medal. We get the Bridge Enthusiast Medal for exploring every bridge. The Experience Millionaire Medal, which means we've earned 1,000,000 experience points over the course of the series, which is crazy. And we get a Hint Medal, very nice. And he's going to upgrade our medal box to Rookie rank because we obtained that medal at the beginning of the episode. And we also get the Rookie Medalist Medal. And now he's telling us to aim for 100 medals, which is awesome. But anyway, I think that will end things off here. So, this past episode of Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we explored Pinwheel Forest and fought a whole ton of trainers. And next time we are going to be exploring Pinwheel Forest again, and also some other areas of the Unova region, and catching more Pokemon. Some of them legendary. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.